Today, Charlie Kirk's alleged killer appears in court as prosecutors seek the death penalty. The Federal Reserve is set to meet for a long-awaited rate cut decision. US President Trump is in the UK for a visit filled with royal pomp. And an outpouring of grief for actor Robert Redford, who's died aged 89. It's Wednesday, September 17th. This is Reuters World News, bringing you everything you need to know from the front lines in 10 minutes, 7 days a week. I'm Kim Vanel in Wanganui, New Zealand.
State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson.
The man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk appears in a Provo, Utah court via video link from jail, where prosecutors announce they will seek the death penalty.
Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Robinson. I'm Judge.
Court documents reveal Robinson allegedly confessed to the killing in text messages to his roommate and romantic partner. Charlie Kirk was shot through the neck by a rooftop sniper while speaking at Utah Valley University last week, a killing that's reignited fears of escalating political violence in the US. Reuters' Brad Brooks is in Provo.
So in the charging documents that the prosecutors released today, they included a series of text exchanges between Robinson and his roommate with whom he was romantically involved. And in it, Robinson plainly states that he shot and killed Kirk. He said that he did it because he couldn't stand what he said was the hate that Kirk was spewing, and that he had the opportunity to, in his words, take him out, and he did so. The roommate, prosecutors have said, is a biological male who is transitioning to female.
Robinson wore a green vest known as a suicide prevention vest during the hearing. Brad says court documents also show Robinson's parents helped convince him to turn himself in.
It turns out that it was his own mother that recognized his photo and had a discussion with her husband, with Robinson's father, and that they had gotten into touch with him and just sort of pressed him on whether or not he was the one who carried out the killing of Kirk. And at that point, Robinson, according to the court documents, told his parents that he was considering killing himself. They convinced him, with the help of a retired deputy sheriff who was a friend of theirs, to turn himself in.
A Reuters Ipsos poll conducted just after Charlie Kirk was killed shows nearly 2/3 of Americans believe political talk is fueling violence. More than 60% of people said the way Americans talk about political issues does a lot to encourage it.
Luigi, how you feeling? How you doing, sir? Good?
At another courtroom, this one in Manhattan, Luigi Mangione arrives, shackled and wearing tan prison clothes. Inside, a judge dropped 2 terrorism charges against him. Mangione is accused of killing health insurance executive Brian Thompson last December. He still faces second-degree murder and 8 other charges. If convicted, he could be looking at life in prison.
We, the people,
want Luigi free!
Who's the real terrorist?
UHC!
What do we want?
Free healthcare!
Outside court, supporters of Mangione say he was making a stand against unethical healthcare systems. But the judge says prosecutors didn't prove Mangione meant to intimidate healthcare workers or influence policy, and that's what's needed to call it terrorism under New York state law. Mangione is still facing separate federal charges, which could bring the death penalty. At Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza, the wounded lie curled up on the ground to receive blood transfusions. There are not enough beds, operating theatres, or doctors. Surgeons say they're being forced to choose which lives to save between children and the elderly. It's just one snapshot of suffering in the enclave, which is now in the midst of an intense ground assault on Gaza City. Palestinians there say it's the most intense bombardment they've faced in 2 years of war. Israel says it's necessary to eliminate Hamas and get all the hostages back. Angry over the war in Gaza, Spain says it will withdraw from next year's Eurovision Song Contest if Israel takes part as it normally does. 4 other nations have already said the same. And a coalition of advocacy groups have lit up Times Square with a billboard calling on European soccer federations to boycott Israel. New York is set to host 8 Soccer World Cup matches next year, including the final. The Federal Reserve begins a high-stakes policy meeting today amidst unusual political posturing. Trump advisor Stephen Miron has joined the Fed board, while Lisa Cook remains in her seat, for now, after a court blocked President Trump's attempt to fire her. Markets expect a quarter-point rate cut, but as Fed reporter Howard Schneider explains, the key is what Fed Chair Jerome Powell has to say about the path ahead.
If you're in the market for a home loan right now, say, for example, I wouldn't expect a lot of action on core consumer rates just based on the rate cut alone. If Powell is leaning hawkish and the summary of economic projections are leaning hawkish, that means they're still not ready to treat the Trump tariffs and the Trump changes in the economy as a source of temporary inflation that's going to go away in a few months. If they lean dovish and they're ready to make that tilt and say, yeah, we think the inflation is going to fade on its own and we're really going to prop up the job market, then you really are setting the stage for looser financial conditions over the rest of this year and into next.
US President Donald Trump touching down in London on an unprecedented second state visit to the UK. He landed at the residence of US Ambassador Warren A. Stevens.
We had a good flight. A lot of people came with us. And tomorrow's going to be a very big day, Mr. Ambassador. Mr. President, it's going to be a historic
Later,
day.
he'll head to Windsor Castle, where earlier protesters projected images and videos of the president with Britain's Prince Andrew and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Trump will have tea with the royals and later a state banquet. To mark the visit, Britain and the US have agreed a technology pact worth $42 billion to boost ties in AI, quantum computing, and civil nuclear energy. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is keen to pitch Britain as an investment destination to reverse years of weak economic growth. Before heading off, Trump confirmed a deal has been reached with China to keep TikTok operating in the US.
I had parents calling me up. They don't want it for themselves, they want it for their kids. They say, if I don't get it done, they're in big trouble with their kids.
The deal would transfer TikTok's US assets to US owners from China's ByteDance, potentially resolving the nearly year-long saga. Trump says he'll speak to China's Xi Jinping to confirm the agreement, which may also require Congress approval.
It's a great loss, first off. Not only was he an incredible actor...
Actor Leonardo DiCaprio joining the chorus of people honouring the late Robert Redford. The 89-year-old actor passed away Tuesday at his home in Sundance, Utah. No cause of death has been shared. Redford helped shape American film, both on screen and behind the scenes. He starred in classics like Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid and All the President's Men.
He gave the check to Stans for the committee
Redford
to
was
re-elect.
also known for his environmental activism, and he founded the Sundance Film Festival. Here's entertainment reporter Lisa Richwine.
People in Hollywood use the word icon a lot, and it's often overused, but with Robert Redford, that is the word you can use. He has a legacy of so many great films. He was so charismatic on screen. And beyond that, he really left a legacy of supporting independent film. He was frustrated with Hollywood and went to Utah, where he was inspired by the mountains and the nature, and created the Sundance Film Festival that nurtured independent artists.
And for today's recommended read, how about a listen instead? Our sister podcast, Reuters' Econ World, looks at the state of American capitalism after President Trump's intervention in several high-profile companies. That will drop later today, and you can find it on the Reuters app, Reuters.com, or your favorite podcast platform. For more on any of the stories from today, check out Reuters.com or the Reuters app. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast player. If you're listening on a smart speaker, just ask for the latest news from Reuters 7 days a week. We'll be back tomorrow with our daily headline show.